Hello friends and neighbors, John your whiskey neighbor here, and welcome down the Whiskey Nook. It's another Saturday. Managed to change back to summer tires in my car, and I thought that's enough work, time for a break and a whiskey with you. Today I'm going to continue my very affordable smoky or peated scotches, and we're going to look at Islay Mist 8-year-old. I know a little bit, but really not enough about this bottle, but we'll let the whiskey talk and we'll see what we get. So when we come back, it'll be Islay Mist blended Scotch whiskey.
3, 4.
Thanks for staying with me. As I said quickly in the intro, I'm doing a little bit of a walkthrough, very affordable smoky or peated Scotch. This is blended Scotch, so we're talking, there is some malt in here, but there's also some grain. This is incredibly affordable in my area. This very bottle I bought not on sale on a small town liquor store shelf for 25 bucks Canadian. That is amazing considering it's got an age stamp of 8 years and it's fairly peated. So what do I know about this whiskey? I don't know much. I know that they, on their website they talk about how this blend was established in 1921 when the Lord of Islay wanted to celebrate the 21st birthday of their son, but they were having guests over, and regular Laphroaig was just too smoky, so they blended Laphroaig with some Highland malt and some lowland grain. And it comes right on it, and it says, the peated Islay blend, and in here a historic Laphroaig based blend. So it's kind of cool that they can celebrate at least one of the distilleries still that's in here, Laphroaig. In the story it mentions Glenlivet would be in the Highland, but I don't know if that's still in the blend. But they don't go all the way through like Compass Box, where they tell all the proportions of different whiskeys and what they're aged in and whatnot. So we don't quite get transparency, but we get a cool little card, a decent looking bottle, and a nice story. Aged 8 years. Oh yeah, and it's got this seal of approval, I think, of the Lord of Islay, which is kind of cool. But it's 40%. We can assume, since nothing on here says otherwise, that the liquid is colored, chill filtered, so we can't really evaluate color or anything like that, and it's only 40%. Hopefully you've got a little bit of Scotch, maybe something peated, and we'll see if you get similar notes or different notes. Of course, if you have this, why don't you get a dram? Pour along. Citrus comes up pretty quick. A light citrus and a souring into smoke. So it's not, to me, if it didn't say Laphroaig all over this bottle, I wouldn't run to Laphroaig. It's, the more you stay in it, it's got some smoke, a little bit of peat, but definite lemon and a little bit of honey. Yeah, a little bit of grain malt. Now that I'm agitating it, maybe a little medicinal notes. Yeah, so maybe like, I often call them medicinal notes, depending on how romantic you're being or the quality of the Scotch. Maybe a little bit of brine and seaweed. No, it's really leaning more into that. Oh, still quite strong in citrus. So I really think you're going to get, I get some sourness, which is a little bit towards citrus. It's not bright, but so it's sort of, I don't know what to say, but it's a little bit of sour, a little bit of smoke, some grain, and a little bit toward a bit of a medicinal iodine kind of note. Sláinte. I took a hearty sip on that one. In the mouth, I'm getting some nice peat. Here I've got a little bit of that, damp, mossy, I mean, mossy makes it sound like maybe more Highland peat. That's not what I'm saying. So let's go campfire. But a little bit of that smolder in the wood, right? So it's not that really dry ash. For me, it's a little more smolder, a little more lively. There's some pepper spicing. Could be just kind of youth biting. Sweetness coming back now. Almost a light caramel. Must be from some ex-bourbon casking there. And now it's really fading into a little more smoke. Let's try it again. This time in the palate, a little bit of metallic taste and a little bit of bitterness comes out. Yep. And the finish continues to move now more into a little bit ash, a little dry. It's a little more drying in the finish. This is not a peat monster. It is, I think, its strongest note. There is, like I said, in the note, kind of a light honey, almost floral in the palate. Kind of a graininess that's around there that's interesting, a little chewy. But I really believe if you're going for this or considering this, it could be an introduction to peat and you don't want to spend a lot of money at all on a bottle. Or, you know, you're looking for a peated blend and you're not looking for a terrible amount of complexity. I'm struggling with layers. Like if I could try to describe a fruit, man, I can't even really think of a fruit here. When you talk sweetness, it just is a sweetness in the mouth. But I kind of like this. I don't find it bad at all. And what an amazing price and a little bit of a story. And I don't know. I like this dram. This is the kind of dram, though, that if I wanted to try, a cocktail with a bit of a smoked whiskey, I think this would be a great choice. It's not overwhelming smoke or overwhelming peat. I know it's pretty much all I'm talking about, but it would add that layer, I think, very nicely to a drink if you're looking for that. And I can drink it neat. It is surprising for a budget dram for me. I'm going to compare it head to head, but I have to say it's drinkable. It definitely has, for me, metallic, bitter, slight, iodine note that really creeps around, kind of every now and then rears its head. That keeps me from going, oh, I need a case of this stuff. So it's okay. It's good. It's actually good. And I'm happy to give it, a 3.5 star. And if you think about value, it's like a 3 3/4. Really, it is. This is a fantastic budget Scotch. Now I want to just compare quickly to Smoky Black. Smoky Black I like. And I'm just trying to see in this sitting, because that's when I can see like what is really standing out between these budget bottles. Far sweeter and yet more like black olive sourness. This now is a little more gentle and light smoke. Interesting. Yeah, this is, what is that smell? Damp cherries. I don't know why I'm saying damp. There's like a weird dampness to it. On the palate, sweet, a little bit more malt, I will say. I think there's perhaps more malt. Not a lot of character in this comparison. I think I was liking that last week. A little more peat and smoke. In this setting, I like this a significant amount more. I don't regret having this bottle, and certainly at that price, if I'm not blessed with many smoky or peaty drams on the shelf, I'd gladly have that Islay Mist. For me, it is better than this famous Grouse Smoky Black. So, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully that wasn't too short, but I really just want to give you a snapshot of my thoughts and feelings, and I'll go through a couple more value blends, I think, in the next few weeks, and then we'll move along. I'm quite sure into some bourbon. Thanks for joining me. Have a great week.